Hey guys, it's Derick from WCC here. Today on Deck Doctor we have a Murakumo deck to change from standard to premium. Here is a snapshot of the standard deck that we are changing. As you can see, it is your typical standard Murakumo deck. When changing this deck, we are going to keep in mind no cost limits, making this into a playable premium deck, and to keep it with the Shirayuki engine that is previously in the standard deck. So, as you can see, I have laid out the deck, well, at least the stuff that we are going to keep. The starter, Shirayuki, Jokotsugo, Rainy Madam, and 4 heals, 4 draws, and 4 crits. For the premium deck, we are going to add 4 Mandala Lord, 4 Midnight Crow, 4 Rune Star, 4 Stride Fodders, 4 Matsu Snipe, 1 Oboro Cart, and 4 of the Hidden Scroll Stand. For the G Zone, we are going to add 4 Genma, 2 Yasui Goma, 2 Yasui Tenma, 2 Homerator, 1 Shibaraku Buster, 1 Drachma, 1 Shishiyuzuki, 2 Hogan Wings, and 1 Ractome. I know most of you guys have watched our previous video on the infinite attacks with infinite power discussed by Mark Guan, and yes, that combo can definitely be implemented in this deck. For this deck, I'm going to emphasize on customization. A lot of people coming from standard are very scared to play premium because they say it is full of Gize and infinite loops. The meta currently is ruled by Ange and Ezul, which are definitely not loop decks or Gize decks. So to emphasize on customization, playing premium, you have a bigger card pool to utilize, where in standard, at the moment, there are very limited amount of cards to play around with, especially if you are playing a clan that has only 1 round of support, such as Angel Feather or Gear Chronicle. This deck is essentially deleters with Excel. Shirayuki pseudo deletes by writing and making your opponent's Vanguard negative 10,000 power, or calling to rear guard and applying the negative 5,000 power. Runestar enables for multi-attack on Excel circles, where all units that attack have an additional 10,000 power. Jokotsugo and Rainy Madam are used to filter your deck to get your Shirayukis in the early game. By having an engine where you are enabling yourself from being grade locked on grade 3, you are now needing to focus on the early game and how much pressure you apply. So that's why I opted for Midnight Crow and Oborokot. They both allow me to create units in the early game and to commit a small amount of cards from my hand while still applying pressure by attacking 3 lines. Additionally, this is why I chose to use Mandala Lord as my backup grade 3. If I ever ride Mandala Lord first and I wasn't able to get Shirayuki for the least part, I can superior call units from my deck to continue to apply the pressure that I did in the previous turns. Going into my stride turns, Hidden Scroll enables me to do the same. I can clone units from my deck, which continues to apply the pressure that I did in the previous turns, as well as filter my deck of normal units so I have a better chance at hitting a trigger. Matsu Snipe is used as a bait stick. Having a 22k on an Excel circle while your opponent is at 2k or 3k power forces a lot of guard from your opponent's hand. Stride Fodders are very useful in this deck, purely because you want to be keeping your grade 3s to generate Excel circles as well as reducing your opponent's Vanguard power. So essentially, you don't want to be ditching these valuable grade 3s. For the stride zone, Genma is a very good first stride. It calls essentially a free unit, and at the end of turn, it returns back to hand. If you clone Shirayuki, at the end of turn, you return it to hand, which sets you up for the following turn. Goma is your alternate first stride. In the instance where you utilize too much soul in the early game, you don't need to panic. When you stride into Goma, you get a free 15k unit to attack with. Not only that, all your units now have the effect where if they don't hit, you can draw 1 and bottom deck a card from your hand. This is useful in the case where your hand gets clogged with triggers and you are unable to stride next turn, or you have no units to call. You are able to cycle them for better quality cards in your hand. Homerator is one of your best push strides. I'm sure most people know about the Murakumo Loop, which is an alternative to the infinite loop that we had posted a while ago. Homerator with Rune Star generates a lot of pressure, and especially if you ride Shirayuki, your opponent has to guard a few Vanguard attacks as well as rearguard attacks on the Excel circle. Yasui Tenma, in conjunction with Chokotsugo and Rainy Madam, can set you up for multiple attacks where Shirayuki can be called out to continue to reduce your opponent's Vanguard power. So essentially this is how it works. You have Rainy Madam, Chokotsugo, and Shirayuki, all three on rearguard circles. Whether they are on Excel circles doesn't really matter. Rainy Madam attacks, and it doesn't hit, so you can proc Rainy Madam's skill to put her into soul to grab a Shirayuki from your drop zone back to your hand. Then Yasui Tenma's effect procs, where you can counterblast one to clone another Rainy Madam from your deck. Both auto abilities go on standby, so you can choose whichever effect to resolve first. Similarly, with Chokotsugo, it's the same thing. So Chokotsugo, your attack doesn't hit, you can top 7 search for a Shirayuki or 2 Shirayukis to add one to hand and to add one to the discard pile. Otherwise, you can soul charge one. Then Tenma uses his skill to counterblast one to call Chokotsugo out. Once you have generated enough soul, you attack with your Shirayuki. And each time she doesn't hit, Tenma's skill can counterblast one to call her out from the deck. Which means that each time she gets called out, you are able to use her Soul Blast 2 skill to reduce your opponent's Vanguard power by 5,000 power. Overall, this is a very counterblast heavy combo, but it is available to you if you ever find the need to use it. Shibaraku Buster. This card isn't too bad when your opponent is in the negative powers. The rearguard that attacks gains drive check, and if you ever hit a stand, it ramps up your offensive game for that turn. Additional drive checks are good, and especially if you clone Shirayuki, not only does it give you twin drive, you can use her Soul Blast 2 skill to continue to reduce your opponent's Vanguard power. Drachma, honestly, he's just there for the shine, but if you ever find the situation where you can end your opponent by striding into him, then he's useful. Access to Drachma is quite good in this deck, because you have many ways in Chokotsugo and Rainy Madam to be able to fetch your Shirayukis. For the G-Guards, all of Murakumo's G-Guards are pretty average. Hogan Wing can clone Shirayuki to the Guardian Circle to Soul Blast 2 and reduce your opponent's attack power, which is useful, and then afterwards you can cycle her back into the deck. Same with her. You can move Shirayuki from your rearguard to the Guardian Circle. That Shirayuki gains 5,000 power, and then you can also clone her from the deck, which means that you can use her Soul Blast 2 skill to reduce your opponent's attack power again. Then next turn, because Shirayuki is in your drop zone, you can use Yasui Genma to cycle her back. Rack turn, he's just there to cycle through your deck if your hand is ever clogged. So back to customization, how is this deck customizable? You can remove Mandala Lord for other grade 3s such as Musashi, which makes guarding a bit harder for your opponent. I have mentioned the Murakumo Loop a various number of times in this video, and I'm quite certain that a lot of people would like a deck profile on the Loop deck, so I found it fitting to do it in this video. So the Loop requires 4 dual weapon, 4 time bar, 4 Metamorphox, in addition to the 4 hidden scroll that are already in this deck. So to make space for those units, you can take out 4 Midnight Crow, 4 Amatsu Snipe, 1 Oboro card, and a mixture of 3 other cards such as 1 grade 3, 1 Rune Star, or 1 Stride Fodder. And now you have access to the Loop in the deck. For the Stride Zone, come Premium Collection, you will have access to the 10k GB1 crit, which replaces the Moon Edge in this deck, which is really useful for fueling Soul, as Soul can be an issue in this deck. Shibaraku Victor, the new Stride for Murakumo, is very useful because it enables multi-attack if your rearguards do not hit. For a cost of Soul Blast 1, you can call him to rearguard circle if your rearguard attack doesn't hit your opponent's Vanguard. You can keep on calling him if your opponent doesn't let your Shibaraku Victor hit by calling the one from G-Zone on top of the Victor that is currently on the field as it returns to the G-Zone face up. And if your opponent keeps guarding, you can keep attacking with Shibaraku Victor and keep superior calling him by Soul Blasting 1. Shibaraku Victor for first strike is questionably a better Yasui Genma, except the unit's call doesn't return to hand. But it generates 2 units instead of 1, which conserves your hand for guarding and for better options to play the following turn. I would take out Drachma and 2 Yasui Genma to put in 3 Shibaraku Victor. Only 3 because Victor can flip anything face up in G-Zone, and you only need 2 to loop attacks. So your first stride into Victor, you flip himself, and then the next one you can flip whatever. For the heals, you can opt to play 2 of the countercharge soul charge heals, or entirely play 4 if you feel that soul and counterblast are a problem in this deck. You can also use the Onibiyoshi starter instead of the draw 1 starter if you want a way to fetch combo pieces when you stride. Instead of a Matsu Snipe, you can opt to play Sukarok, which allows for multi-attack on your Excel circles. You can also increase the number of Obora cards if you feel you need more superior calling. You can take a Matsu Snipe out in this case. Instead of Rune Star and Midnight Crow, you can substitute them for 2 other cards. Yashibayashi, which is the 11k counter charge unit for Yasui that can attack from the back row, or you can swap it for the Ubushi, which is the 16k back row attacker, which also is an anti-retire or anti-lock card. For the strides, you can use the 2 Shirayuki strides, Cosmetic Snowfall and Sweetly Smiling Ice Petal. You can stride Shibaraku Victor first, which flips a Cosmetic Snowfall Shirayuki. Then from there, you can stride Smiling Shirayuki to reduce your opponent's Vanguard power depending on how many face-up cards you have in the G-Zone with Shirayuki in their name. If you opt to play these strides, I would take out a combination of Goma, Tenma, Genma, Shibaraku, Buster, and Drachma. Striding into Snowfall Shirayuki first, you still get a unit out of it to attack your opponent's Vanguard. And if you decide to replace Mandalala with Musashi, cloning Musashi can increase the pressure you're applying to your opponent. And to wrap it up, there are many ways to make this deck customizable. This deck is customizable to the player's tastes. You can include units that are your favorite units in Shirayuki or Yasui or both. And ultimately, this is one of the reasons why I love playing Premium, as it opens a lot of different thought processes as well as deck building choices and the inclusion of your favorite units in your deck. And that is it for this Deck Doctor. I hope this is insightful for all those players who want a deck profile of the Loop deck, and for all the Shirayuki fans around the world who always wanted a deck purely based on her. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. If you're on Facebook, check out Wurab Card Fight Consulting. The link will be in the description below for news of new videos that releases on our channel, as well as big tournaments tops around the world. Click the bell button to get an instant notification of when a new video releases. If you have a Deck Doctor suggestion, please comment down below a list you want to change. It is really enjoyable to change standard decks into viable premium decks, as it gives an opportunity for those who are currently only playing standard to open up to the premium format. So until next time, thank you for watching this video. I'm Derick Dow from WCC, and I will see you guys next time.